Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening, whoever you are and wherever you are. Today is February 17, 2026, the first day of the Lunar New Year. Also, might say the first day of the new uh, cycle for the Chinese calendar. So it's the year of the horse, first day of the year of the horse, which is significant. Yeah, it's a lot of master feng shui masters say this is a element of the horse is a fire element for the year of the horse. So, which means there is a huge calamity of problems that the world might face. In a nutshell, there'll be a lot of people going to die. It's a gloomy situation, my the way I put it, but that is what it is based on the records of the record keepings. Every single time the year of the horse, which is in the fire element, it's a fire horse, if I say, like in Pokemon we call it Ponyta or Rapidash kind of horse. Yeah, there will be calamities of natural disaster. It could be earthquake, could be a massive fire, bushfire, it could be anything, or even man-made. Maybe perhaps Taiwan finally is going to be invaded by the communist China. Who knows? The world's in turmoil at the moment, especially in the eyes and of the current president of the United States, Mr. Donald Trump. Who knows what the world's going to be? But one thing I would know, then a lot of people are going to die at one swoop of an event. So, dark gloom on one side. I'd like to wish everybody a happy Chinese New Year. If you are not Chinese, happy Lunar New Year. If you don't believe it's a Lunar New Year, well, Happy New Year in Asia, across perspective of Korea, perspective of Taiwan, Hong Kong, Macau, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, certain extent to Mongolia, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, most of the population on the east side of Asia is in a holiday mode, and of course tomorrow globally is the coming of the Eve for the month of Ramadan, which is for the Muslims. They're entering to the holy month on Thursday. That means they'll be fasting on the daytime and from dusk to dawn, and etc. So it's a observation that is profoundly important. So to speak, so probably today, to evening or tomorrow, we would know what is the day officially in Malaysia, the day of the first day of Ramadan will be held. Rather, it's on Wednesday or Thursday, but most probably will be on tomorrow. Anyway, so big events of festivity. We are in festivity mode. I'm actually taken off from work due to my health concern issues and so forth. Blah blah blah. Been recovering for especially from my severe lung and cough issues I've had and other complications. But yeah, recovering very well. In the meantime, just a last day before any kind of shutdown, I was very lucky that I got this note yesterday. Considered very lucky because normally yesterday, as the eve of Chinese New Year, eve of the Lunar New Year, whatever you want to call it, I would just call it Chinese New Year, is that everything will be shut down. So from today onward to probably tomorrow or Thursday, yep, massive industries are shut down, especially in China. The majority of the industries are off work for at least 1 week or so, and then next week probably partially they will be resume work. So the factory of the world currently at this moment of time is in shutdown. The factory of the world is in shutdown. So yeah, with that significant event, I don't expect to have any mails delivered to me until Thursday is the next earliest day, nor on you know to expect to have it yesterday, because I expected to close already yesterday. But eventually, I got my the note that I bought. This one I bought it from a friend. Got it from a friend. I pay him a little bit of money. Got it from a friend from Australia. My and a good pal of mine. So I have been asking that I am looking for some of these notes and blah blah blah. And he eventually said, I have one of these notes hanging around. So would you like it? Would you like to have it? Of course, I said I'd have it. Oh, being a friend, obviously, as well, money. So, gave some money. I won't disclose a bit, but yeah, I got it. I'm quite happy, and it's one of those odd number banknotes, denomination wise. This is 25,000. So, Central Bank of China. If you all can see here, it's the Central Bank of China. Printed in 1948. Printed in 1948. And it's 25,000 custom gold unit. As I say in my last video, as I rant, some might call it ranting, but to be in a good way of saying it intellectually, the denomination that is like those kind of full and partial kind of denomination is kind of redundant according to the history context. The usage of such denomination, the weird numbers, the very odd numbers, 25, 30, 40, 60, 70, 80, 90, these kind of numbers are very, very pointless. They have been implemented before, but they run very short period of time because of its impracticality in the usage. The main objective why we have paper money is to ease the transaction of the buyer and the seller. When you're doing a trade and transaction for goods for a value or promise of certificate of its quantified value, those that have the weird odd numbers, their transaction is much more difficult when you be exchange. Let's say you pay a little extra. Give an example. Last when I talk about the Syrian currency, which is the latest currency that uses one of these notes uses the very odd numbers, 25 Syrian pound. So as I use an example at that time of the video, it's like if the cost of that item is 30, but you don't have 5 Syrian pound banknote, the next smallest one is 10 Syrian pound, so you'll be paying 35. Then the seller has to give back the 5 Syrian pound. The only way they can do that is they have to have coins. So that means the seller of the store or the buyer must have a huge amount of coins to make sure they are able to pay the 5 Syrian pounds in exchange due to the 25. So if you don't use the 25, you use the 10, then so far. If the seller is willing to lose money or make a offensive profit of the 5 pound, that means the plus minus of the 5 Syrian pounds on their products, if they want to avoid having this kind of transaction. So you're not giving a fair chance to the seller, you're not giving a fair chance to the buyer, but due to the difficulty of splitting the money or conducting transaction with a very odd numbers or denomination numbers on the banknote. So this is one of them, the 25,000 custom gold unit. Now I'm not going to go through quite much of it. This video is going to be very short just because I'm going to talk about only one note, and most of this information I've given out quite standard. As I say, Central Bank of China, they use the custom gold unit, design wise are the same. It runs through the transition period of the hyperinflation during the Republic of China after the Second World War, when the Japanese surrendered. These notes became hyperinflation in 1947 and 1948. Dramatically, in 1948, notes, they were short print because the government decided to shift from using custom gold unit. They abolish it and to convert it to a new currency, the new Yuan silver or the new Yuan Gold currency. So they actually changed to a new currency to ease the problem of hyperinflation. So eventually custom gold unit was dismantled, but the original usage of the custom gold unit is actually for the custom, as it is written. It's for a custom gold unit tied to gold but used for transaction for customs. You trade from inside, bringing into the country or exporting out of the country. You have to go through the customs, and the duties that you're going to pay will be in a form of custom gold units. So those notes, this other type of the currency is on sole purposes to use that. But eventually, as time progresses, wars, calamity between the Japanese, Sino-Japanese War, the second round as they call it, round 2, is they don't have the supply to make a new banknotes. They have or have any time to restructure the economy due to war. The government decided to, let the citizen use the custom gold unit because they have overprinted a lot, and the usage of the custom gold unit become very little because the import and export through Republic of China was very little to no stand to a purpose to use this banknotes. So they allowed the masses to use the banknotes. Thus, eventually when hyperinflation happens, they need to print new notes, and they went through printing these notes with a higher denomination, but they don't meet enough to supply and quarters. They allow other printers. So every time you can refer to the bottom here in Chinese, and perhaps at the back will be English. Like for example, this one, is Zhonghua Book Company Limited. It's one of the local printers. Those very, very expensive, rare types of banknotes. Printing this one is like Thomas de la Rouge. That one is very rare. For a British company printing custom gold unit at that time is very small in quantity because they're printed in London. Technically not in London, but in United Kingdom. Printed there, ship it all the way from Europe on the ship all the way to China and unload it in Shanghai. The logistic itself takes time and duration is going to be long. Manufacturing for transporting banknotes, making it end during the period when war was inevitably at its height, and everything is started to restructure. People are starting to get back on their feet. It was really, really small quantity if it's printed by Thomas de la Rouge. I believe I have one that is a good example, is Thomas de la Rouge printing on the gold unit. Now, it's very hard for me to find, sorry about that, to find custom gold unit in foreign that is raw note like this. So you have like this note. This is Central Bank of China 2000 custom gold unit, graded by PMG, uncirculated 64, and it's printed by Thomas de la Rouge. Very, very rare to find a note that is printed by a British company. Thomas de la Rouge is written in Chinese at the bottom here, and at the back it should be written in English. Yeah, there you go. Thomas de la Rouge and Company Limited, London. Yeah, London. I like to say United Kingdom, but technically the printing company is not in London, south skirts of another small town in United Kingdom in England, but the company registration, of course, they put it in London, right? Just to clear out the what I'm trying to say in great details. So this kind of notes, it is printed by Thomas de la Rouge in England, for the Central Bank of China, Custom Gold Unit 2000 Custom Gold Unit. So these are the type of bank that is really rare, I would say, rare type of printers. And there are few notes that are printed by Thomas de la Rouge, yet I don't have it because they are very hard to find. This is one of those I have found, but sadly I have to buy it encapsulated in PMG, which means I pay extra premium to get this note. Extra premium. For me, I don't like to pay extra money just for the sake of because of other things. I want to pay for a fair price of the note based on its condition, raw. That's the fun part of being a collector. But if you're an investor, you want to make sure everything is correct, graded, know what is the condition, and it is genuine, it is original. Yeah. Then most of the investors, they will go straight away to this rather than going for the raw. But if you are like a collector such as myself, is a good thing about good tips I would say is collect raw. You don't need to be encapsulated like this unless you're talking about preservation, identification of the unknown notes. Maybe you can't know what is the note is, asking the help from PMG to help you identify the note. Okay, that's number 2. And number 3, other than preservation, number 1 is preservation, number 2 the identification, number 3 is for, what can I say, display purposes, presentation wise, so yeah, there's a few things that you can say, but other than that, to me, purely the good thing about encapsulation is for investors. If you're investing it, is everything has been answered directly right here. It's genuine, number 1, okay, and you can sell it anywhere, everywhere, and anyhow. PMG is recognized across global scale of the world, so no matter where you are, you back on your dime, people trust PMG, they recognize it. You actually can go to the pawn shop, okay, you actually can go to the pawn shop and pawn your banknotes for money. So one of them, for them, they actually recognize PMG also, so they know this note has value. It has a they can track what is the monetary value of the notes, and they know most important thing to them is that note is genuine. Okay, genuine with information, so that they can track this note, what's the value of it, and then they can exchange what is the deal you want to make, an offer, or they want to make an offer to you. Compared to just a raw note, they tendency don't accept it because they don't have enough information. They are not banknote specialists like ourselves as numismatic community. We are not, they are not. They are pawn shops. Their mission is a business, to buy things and sell off things at a profit. So they would be recommend themselves, actually, is they recognize value banknotes. There is money in there for them to sell at a profit margin, but only condition is it has to be recognized and it has to be encapsulated. So those are pawn shop things. So this is one of the notes that I have, one valued note that is printed by Thomas de la Rouge. Now, other than that, there's actually American banknote printing from America. Those are one of the mainstream foreigner printing companies. But Thomas de la Rouge is one of the rare ones. So that's what I wanted to reiterate that situation. So again, custom gold units, 25,000, very odd number. And to me, in any category, any block, these kind of odd numbers of 25, 35, and so forth, where you have a solid 20,000 plus a half behind like this, and to see they are are hard to find, number one. Number two, they are quite rare, although they're not supposed to be that rare, but they are rarer to use, because at that time of the practice of using this note, nobody wants to use this note, making it redundant, and it fades out very, very quickly. So again, custom gold unit, everything remains the same, as you can see from one example here. You still can see the example here. Looking at both of them, you can see the similarities. Now, at that time, because they are unable to meet the quantities, they are asking most of the people who are capable of printing published books or whatever to print banknotes. So other than this one is trying to meet the demand and supply from all the way from England, they have local like Zhonghua, and they got other printings, including central, real printing, imprints, and so forth. There's a lot of variation because they are from different printers and they have their own design, but the guideline still remains intact. No matter what publisher, no matter what company you are, no matter how you design it, the principle on the foundation of the design of the note to be a custom gold unit has to be like this. They are portrait, not landscape, vertical. They at the top you must have the bank's name. At the top you have the serial number, and at the bottom you have the serial number. You must have the two signature chalk. One is the general manager, and the other one is assistant general manager. And of course they allow the liberty of these two be anywhere. It could be center, could be bottom, or wherever, but the principle remains the same. You must have this stamps on. Then the next one is the portrait or the effigy of Dr. Sun Yat-sen. You have to be at the top side, center, as so you can see. A portrait must be in this kind of portrait. No other effigy angles or whatever other angles can be used. As you can see, this one and this one. This is from England. In Europe printing, this is in China. So two different places, one in the west, one in the east, printing same for the bank custom gold unit, but in different design, different paper quality, but the principle of design still remain the same. You can put a lot of design effort into it. It's the creativity of the publisher of the printing, but each corner of the four corners, from the top corner left and right and the bottom left and right, you have the official numeric Chinese character words on it. So this one is written here 25,000, and this is written here a 2,000. Okay, written. This is a official merchant word for 2, and this is 1,000. So every four corners at the top and bottom will have the word, and they are all in vertical. So that's the remaining of the principles must have. And in the middle of it here, again it repeats the word of custom gold unit in Chinese and 25,000, and this one is written in 2,000. And you can have an absolutely different design on it here. You can have a lot of design of it. That's where the beauty of the note comes out. I call it the shield, the banknotes shield, and yeah, serial number wise, it depends on the note how they produce. They can present it, like for example the Thomas de la Rue side, they presented by the block number and the serial number. So this is block number 8T. 496974 is the serial number. So but for this 25,000 printed in Zhonghua, they put the serial numbers up here, and inside the crest or the shield they put the block number. So this block number, if you can see it, is 1N. So that's how the banknote been designed, but the principles are still intact. So the front part must be and always will be in Mandarin. Okay, no English. They're all in Mandarin. Even the publishing word, Thomas de la Rue, is written in Mandarin. It has to be in Mandarin, no matter how it is. So that's the principle. At the back, it is in English, no other languages, no French, no Russian, no anything, only English, English, English. That is the foundation, and every corner will be written in Arab numerics of the denomination, as you can see. As you can see, 25,000 top left corners and the bottom corners, and also 2,000 at the top corners and the bottom corners. In the middle of the banknote, at the top center, you have the bank, the Central Bank of China's building, the headquarter building on its banknotes. Now they give the liberty of it is you can design, it must be the Central Bank of China's building alone, okay, with a sky background, but the angle of the building or the perspective of the building can be on the design's liberty. So you can see the 25 design is the perspective. You're standing on the right side of the building, and this is standing on near center left side of the building. Okay. And then of course the portrait, you can have design wherever you want, how the fonts are, the size fonts, but the principle remains the same. You must have an English word above the bank stating the Central Bank of China, and you must have the building's image on top here. And then at the bottom center, you must have the big number of the denomination written it and overlaid with the English word spelled on of its denomination and its unit. It's referring. So as you can see here, it's written here 2,000 custom gold unit, and here is written 25. Let me zoom in there. There, it's written 25,000 custom gold units, and then at the bottom is written the governor's signature in science in the European signature, and on the right side as the assistant general manager. There's general manager and assistant general manager. Both are same, as you can see, but it's a different signature. Why is it different? Because this is printed in 1947, this is printed in 1948, and most probably in the event of the time of it, the assistant general manager was changed from this to this one, but the general manager still remain the same. So yeah, so regardless, but the position of this Western signature or English signature is at the back, on left and right, at the bottom of the huge display of the numerics. So the same thing as goes here. So what I'm trying to say is, no matter what custom gold unit denomination or print, the principle of it is the same. And knowing that if you look at the catalog of this series of custom gold unit in 1 year, like say for example this is 1948, the denomination is 25,000. They are actually 3 to 4, if I'm not mistaken, of this variation types of designs, and finding each one of them is the fun part and also the suffering part, because the others are getting more rarer, and especially in this kind of odd denomination 25,000, it's going to be even difficult. So I didn't want to take a chance when my friend said, hey, you got this note, I heard that you're looking for it, all this kind of Chinese note, would you want to have it? And I say yes, of course. I first glance at this is something I must have. It's not I want to have, I must have, because it's one of the collection that I know is going to be very difficult. If I pass that out on that opportunity, I might not able to find this note probably many months or many years. Okay, bear in mind, I just letting myself and also all of your viewers out there, personally, my very first note that I bought in my collection when I started collecting was the custom gold unit. It was my very own purchase from a seller by myself. My very first note that I bought is actually custom gold unit. I paid for it to add into my collection. That event triggered me in 2000 and 2004. It triggered me in 2000. Yeah, 2003. Yes, 2003. It triggered me to first purchase the banknote, and the very first banknote I've purchased was the 100 custom gold unit, the red color one, the big one. But of course, subsequently, I bought the 50, the 20, and the 10, and also the 5. All of them are the cheap ones at that time. I got it for only about 10 ringgit each. At that time, Chinese banknotes were rampantly cheap because China was just building up. The country wasn't gentrified very well, and when compared to what it is now. Today, they have more cash disposal, and most of them started to hunt this type of notes, and prices shot up. When I bought the time in the early 2000s, China notes were relatively cheap. Actually, you can buy their notes for about less than 10 ringgit, 20 ringgit. It was virtually cheap, knowing its rarity too. I've got one note that is rare. Today is hovering at a marking price of 700 to 800 ringgit, and I bought it just less than 40 ringgit at that time. It wasn't considered rare. I mean, sorry, it wasn't considered exotic items to collect. There were no collectors or buyers willing to buy old Chinese banknotes, let alone Republic of China's banknote. The Chinese People's Republic banknote were also considered very rare, that you find buyers buying it. Today is different. After 2008, when China has boomed, a lot of the numismatic in China were aggressively buying all these old banknotes. They haven't got into the phase of the Republic of China. They were in the stage where they're looking and hunting and inflating the price for the People's Republic of China, especially the first series, second series, and the third series. The third series was quite common because it was still a current usage of their currency. But the first series, second series, they were already no longer used, no longer valid. The price jumped up significantly, more than 1,000%, 2,000% jumped up. So irrespectively, I would say that it will be driven, and now a lot of those collectors, they have kind of fulfilled the limitation of the People's Republic. My next forecast, actually, like last year and this year, they were focusing now towards the Republic of China before 1949. So now if they're entering that threshold, most of these notes are going to jump, especially like this kind of notes that are very hard to find. They're going to jump in price very, very quickly. That is one of the worries that I had. So for me, if I'm talking about financially, of my own capable of capitals that I have to try and muster to get all these notes to complete my collection, I am actually racing against time. So long China is forecast to have growth, people have money, they have money to spend on investment or things like that. I am actually racing against time to assure myself able to get the note at a very reasonable price before it jumps up to a price that is beyond my reach, and the notes will not be seen anywhere else. That is my very, very big fear. My very first note collection was a Chinese series of the custom gold unit. Till today, since 2003, I have not even complete that set because of the vastness of its denomination is huge. Let alone just not multiple denominations. Let alone that is that each denomination has multiple variation of printers. It's like Thomas de la Rouge, this one, Chunghua. You have the U.S. banknotes. American banknotes. Blah blah blah. central bank bureau engraving, printings. It's huge amount. The quantity of the catalog is huge on this banknote. I kind of rest assured myself based on my checklist. Some of them I realized they are not recognized a banknote because there was no evidence, just words, but no proof of the banknote's existence. So that for me, I don't collect that. And then they have a note that is the 100 custom gold unit on a landscape position. Okay, on a landscape position. That note was considered as it was issued to the public. So in my book, in my text, if the notes were not used and circulated by the masses, I won't collect them. I won't consider it as part of the must collection. To have it, yes, it would be great to obtain it, but to consider fulfilling the collection with the rules of the game, I consider it as no. So there's confirmed for me. I have confirmed as one note that I am definitely not collecting, although there is a record of it, but it's considered as unissued. So I don't have the obligation to find and collect. Okay, so there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. That is all for today. Actually, that's only one note that I have. The next note that I'm actually waiting for is in progress, on the way. One is from the Euro auction house, and the other one is from Singapore. The Singapore one didn't mail out yesterday, sadly. So I won't expect it to arrive this week or even next week. Probably end of early of March, it would arrive to my doorstep. So I will put that in next month's agenda. If it arrives early, then I will do a clip and also a video on it. As I tell you from as I said in the last video, is that I'm going to do all the short clips, the 1 minute clips more often for every collection that I have put in, that I've received, and hopefully I can do it as quickly as possible on that one. But I won't be doing the video on afterwards. I'll do a video once I have accumulated enough quantities. As like my last video that rampantly run for more than 2. I didn't realize that it ran for 2 hours of my ranting. So I would like to say sorry about that. Alright, please forgive me. But that's the plan that I'm planning to do in my organization of the video. Is a video I will put it like a movies kind of long story short. Is I'm going to do it in the movies kind of thing, about more than 1 hour clip. So I have to accumulate the quantity, enough of that quantity, and in the appropriate time I will do a video. So the video will be less being produced or published, I might say, but I'll publish more on the short clips. So I'm focusing my videos to a short clips videos, so that actually is much more portable for viewers. You look at a phone, you want to get entertained, you're looking for something that is 15 second, 20 second to 60 seconds. I put the maximum 60 seconds if I could allow, based on the video clips and the quantity information that I'm providing. But at least those are the people that can enjoy and see and get spectacular on the banknotes, rather than talking like this in a video, looking at the note and information is not straight to the point. People always look for summaries and get to the point answers. So the video of a long video, you won't get that much unless you go into details of what I'm trying to explain. But if you want just to look at the banknote, wow factor, wow, yes, no, I hate it, I love it, maybe, meh, short clips will do the job fine. Even for me, actually, the purpose of the sole function of the short clips is a recording, knowing what note I bought on that period I received. So I do know that, and then I use the long video to talk about the notes that I have, and talking about details like small details, historical events if there is, price of the notes if they have issues, and and etc. So that is my change in position at the moment, how I'm going to conduct my videos. So that is all for today. Thank you very much. If you like this video, do give me a like. If you would like to see future videos, do subscribe. And if you have any information, extra information, or if my information is wrong, then do give me write in the comment, and I hope and I'll get back to you as soon as possible. If I have any correction, I will accept it, because as I always say, uh, I will always people humanity, human beings, we always continue to learn, and we learn from our mistakes. And information, knowledge is power, and I always say sharing is caring. If you have information about it, or historical background of the notes, of the custom gold unit, or of it, just drop in my comments. And so yeah, thank you very much, and of course, happy Chinese New Year, and I hope to see you real soon. Bye bye.